so An Old Man's Winter Night by Robert Frost. Ironic because it's winter and his last name is Frost. Sorry, I just wanted to point that out. Okay, let's start off with the title. So like Anne, old man, so like it's obviously one old man, lonely.
Yeah, it like resembles like the
Yeah.
loneliness, just one person.
Yeah. And then Blair had a good point about like what an old man entails, which is like
like old men, and they've gone through all their experiences in life, and like
they're wise.
They're wise, and they know a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And so like winter night, you think of like scary and coldness because it's like eerie, and summer night's like fun, but like winter's night is cold and scary. Okay, so so at the beginning it automatically starts off like really eerie, and it's like it personifies the doors because they're looking darkly at him, so it kind of just like starts off already like kind of
like spooky. Kind of like being in a house alone, just freaking him out.
And so through the so it just kind of like continues that eerie feel, and it kind of starts you kind of don't really notice it until like a while later, but he kind of like just woke up, and so like he's kind of like looking around and like seeing where he is. Like he doesn't know where he is, and so it's kind of like he like through the thin frost, almost in separate stars, it's kind of like he's seeing stuff,
Yeah, like he's not all there, like
yeah.
And it's saying like eventually he's saying like he's at loss, and he's scared, and he's clomping around, so he like doesn't really know what he's doing, and he doesn't really know why he's alone or even at his house.
Yeah, and then it like talks about like empty rooms, so it's kind of like emphasizing the fact that he's alone. And then it kind of like it has the Yoda talk. It's like flipping the subject and the action, or like what kept his eyes from giving out the gaze was the lamp tilted near him in his hand. So like so he was kind of like going like out of not consciousness, but like kind of not like paying fully attention to what's around him, and kind of like the lamp was the only thing that kept him like paying attention because it gave him that light and stuff. And then it has another flip sentence. What kept him from remembering what it was that brought him was the creaking room. To that creaking room was his age. So that kind of that's where it first tells you like he does not know where he is. He doesn't remember anything, and it kind of tells you like because he's so old, his age is the reason that he doesn't remember. It's kind of like dementia.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
it leads up to some kind of like disease that he has.
Yeah.
So.
And then he stood with barrels around him, and then it has the dashes for like a dramatic pause at a loss. So, like again, he doesn't remember. I'm gonna talk about the cellar.
And so it personifies the cellar just like the doors were personified, and it's like personified as like clomping, and it's clomping around. It's like eerie and scaring him, and I mean he's got no one else there.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it's just, again, like, he's really scared, and he doesn't understand anything, and, like, everything around him is scaring him, and he's like, where am I? And then it talks about, like, a bunch of sounds that happen, and it says, like, they're familiar and they're common, but, like, they're still, like, scaring him. Like, they're common things that shouldn't scare you. Like, you should expect it to happen, but because...
the tree branches.
Yeah.
And...
like, because he doesn't remember, it's scaring him, because he's like, what's going on?
And so what he does know is this one light that he has, and he refers back to that. He's like, I guess that's the only thing that he's like sure of. Light, I don't know, like maybe like something, and like a light could represent like
that epiphany, like understanding something.
Yes.
And in his case, it would be like remembering where he is and why he's there.
Yeah.
But he never gets there.
Yeah.
Like the light's there, like it's a quiet light, so obviously it's not like in his face, like, this is why you're here. It's kind of like in the back of his mind, but he can't remember it. So then it talks about the moon and stuff, and he went outside and looked at the moon, and like it talks about the moon is broken, so that could possibly mean like that it's like not a full moon, so it's like
yeah.
a half moon.
That's
so
true.
It's like, oh, it's a broken moon, but because he's old, that's like how he sees it.
Yeah.
And like because he doesn't remember it, and then so then it's just like talking about like comparing it to the sun. It's saying the moon is better than the sun. And then it's talking about the snow and the icicles and stuff. So it's like explaining really how cold it is, because like otherwise
and like harsh conditions. Like when you think of winter, it's like harsh conditions. It's not like summer where like you can, I don't know, just never mind.
Yeah. No, you're good. You're good. And then it's like talking about how, and then it talks about him going back to sleep. So it's kind of like he's drifting in and out of consciousness. So
which
by that
could
time,
like resemble his death almost. Like he's like.
No, yeah. Well, at the end, it kind of does. And so, and then like, then the log shifted and stuff. Like again, like creepy sounds happen again, and he kind of is just like freaked out, and then he has like eased his heavy breathing, so he tried to calm himself down. So he's like, it's okay, like, and then he still slept. So like all these things are happening, but he's still like going back to sleep.
Yeah.
And then it has one aged man one man can't keep a house.
So now it's like saying not only the old man, but like any sort of man, like whether like just you can't be like alone, like you need society no matter like how old you are.
And it like because it's like one aged man, one man, because it's like emphasizing his loneliness because he's like all alone, and like the dashes are kind of like, again, just to emphasize like one man, loneliness. And then it's like, I mean, he talks about like a farm in a countryside, and I guess it's kind of like going back, and I mean he's dying at this point. That's what the whole poem is about. Like it's this confused old man who's dying by himself, and it's kind of talking like that kind of sad stuff.
Like his realization of his age and I think that's basically it.
Yeah. So that's the poem.
That's it.